All right. So, a lot of drama this week with Asmongold going on a definitely racist rant on his stream, taking things way, way too far as he continues to just go down the path of being an extremist, fascist, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, just repeating the alt-right talking points. And this was definitely an absolute low for him. I am going to play the clip because I'm pretty sure that it's okay to play it, but I'm going to warn you that it is very hard to listen to. So content warning here. I mean, you can see the quotes. Like, it's not fun to listen to, but so you have the context. This will probably be edited out of the YouTube video because I don't think YouTube would let me do it. But we're talking about news, so this is news that we're talking about. All right.
They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
So this wasn't just like one little comment that then just, blew up. This was a rant where he restated over and over again that he's referencing the war in Gaza and the Palestinians that are getting mass murdered. Doubles down on it, triples down on it several times. I mean, there's so many things, first of all, just wrong. It's just straight up like misinformation that is being spewed here. Obviously, like just pure hatred and hatefulness towards people that are dying, innocent people that are dying, like civilians, tens of thousands of people dying. I don't know, like, again, I don't know why Dexter said this was, quote, racist. It is very racist, very hateful. I'm surprised it took Twitch almost 24 hours to suspend his account. But yeah, I mean, horrific. A lot of things just wrong here. It is disturbing that people can say things like this and just feel no remorse and like be like, it's that simple. I mean, he definitely found out it was not that simple. This video got shared many times. This person who tweeted got 56,000 likes, quote tweets, comments. Definitely went definitely spread around the interwebs. And generated a lot of conversation and had him reconsidering what he said because yeah, I don't know how you can look at that and be like, I agree. I mean, Jesus, man, like, this is just so horrific to say these things. If there's any part of this that you agree with, you should really take a look at yourself and maybe reevaluate yourself a little bit in the same way that Asmongold is now doing. So following this tweet, and after a lot of backlash, Zach Asmongold tweeted, looking back on it, I was way too much of an asshole about the Palestine thing. My bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. You guys deserve more than me saying stupid shit like that. I'll do better. It's so interesting that, like, saying that they do things or have views I find regressive, meanwhile, cannot stop having the most regressive, troglodyte level views that you could have as like a functional human person. I mean, the things that he says, like, every time that there is like a woman or a black person in a video game, His whole chat is spamming DEI and woke. I mean, he's at the lowest level of a functional human as there can be. So I find it really ironic how he talks about Western culture being superior, meanwhile lives in a literal trash can in his mom's house. So this was the first thing he said, and then he did end up putting together a video, which we will watch. But yeah, I find the whole thing to be like very hypocritical. My bad. Yeah, people obviously in his circle agree with him. Like, don't apologize. How dare you? If you cannot admit when you're wrong, or you cannot change your mind when you learn things, you are a stupid person. Yeah, you're dumb. Like, you suck as a person. It is actually way more elevated to be open to changing your views when you learn new information and be okay with admitting when you're wrong. Again, lowest level person. So, of course, there was fallout. Now, the thing here is Asmongold, it doesn't say it here. I don't know if he had it or he removed it or what, but he is part owner of OTK, Starforge Systems, Mythic Talent. Like he's he's part of a whole network of businesses and learned some hard lessons about spewing hatred and being part of businesses. Those things do not go together. So a couple statements here. Starforge Systems says, we've spoken to Asmongold and have mutually agreed to part ways. Starforge unequivocally rejects all forms of discrimination, hatred, and violence. We stand by and align ourselves with those around the world seeking to foster acceptance, unity, and dignity. OTK also released a statement a few days ago. Zach Asmongold made some comments that, even in his own words, were disgusting and abhorrent. OTK denounces all forms of discrimination and violence, and that sort of behavior cannot be tolerated. Yesterday evening, we spoke with Zach, and he will be stepping away from his roles at OTK and our affiliate companies, Starforge, Mythic, and Mad Mushroom. In our conversation, Zach vehemently expressed his desire to change his life and broaden his perspective. We'll see. I don't know. Earlier today, he posted a video detailing his thoughts on his comments, along with the change he plans on making moving forward. We will see. We hope Zach remains committed to the promises he has made to us, the community, and to himself. In the meantime, OTK will continue fostering an open, exclusive work environment dedicated to producing the best live streaming content possible for our community and partners. We shall see. There also was so Tips Out, who is, I can't remember his exact role in the network, but he runs things. I think he's CEO. I think he might be CEO of like OTK and the whole umbrella. But yeah, he's got an executive position. Maybe he's biz dev, I can't remember. Part owner. So I thought this was really well written. It's a little bit long, but I thought it was really heartfelt. So I'm gonna read it. The below are my personal thoughts and do not reflect my employer or any company or person I'm affiliated with. Zoom in. Enhance. To enhance. Hello everyone, as you are aware, some comments were made by Zach yesterday about Palestinians and Muslims. Before I address his comments, I'd like to take this opportunity to share some details about my background in hopes that those reading this post may better understand who I am, where I come from, and what those comments mean to me. 34 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be born in the United States of America, a blessing and lottery ticket that I thank God for every day. My parents, Syrian immigrants from Damascus, came to the US in the 70s, 80s at a time when the likes of Hafez and I'm not going to say this right, al-Assad, were massacring tens of thousands of their own people in Hama. The sole reason I exist today can be attributed to the words of one of my father's neighbors who informed my late grandmother that my father's friends had been arrested for political dissent, and that the Mukabart were coming from next. Quick on her feet, my grandmother, God Almighty, grant mercy in her soul, grabbed my 22-year-old father and with tears in her eyes, shaved off his beard and sent him to Jordan, hoping he would make it out. With the help of a few friends, and at a time when many thought cereal was a weedy breakfast consumed with milk, my dad was one of the few Syrians lucky enough to be granted passage to America. To that we say, thank God. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce all these words. At some point in my mid-80s, my father, then working as an engineer in Los Angeles, was serendipitously reunited with one of his childhood neighbors and schoolmates in Chicago. This man would become my uncle, as his sister, my mother, would marry my father soon after. In typical immigrant fashion, they wasted no time, and my siblings and I were born. Growing up in the early 90s, it was clear that we weren't your stereotypical American family. After all, we were Muslims. Headscarves, no pork, 5 daily prayers, and so on. We dressed conservatively, packed foreign foods in our lunchboxes, and spoke with thick accents until grade school. Yet, strangely enough, I cannot recall a single moment in those early years where I felt different. Yes, our swim trunks could have been less goofy, and explaining what Za'atar was to kids at school was a thing. But despite all that, we were just another American family in Southern California, navigating life and seeking out the coveted dream. Then 9/11 happened. For those that may have been too young to remember, September 11th was not simply a moment or a day, it was a monumental shift in thought and discourse. People were horrified, confused, but above all, angry. In a famous incident, popular radio host Howard Stern called for the entire Middle East to be nuked, bomb them all, and his opinion was not uncommon. From school teachers to store clerks, politicians to celebrities, liberals to conservatives, one thing was on everyone's mind: we gotta get them. But who was them? Surely the perpetrators and murderers who planned the attack, killing thousands of innocent people in the process and changing the landscape of modern humanity. However, to some, them had a much broader definition. One of the least understood aspects of the attacks was the local aftermath, specifically the experiences of Americans who could be perceived as Arab passing. It didn't matter if you were Persian, Indian, South Asian, or even Latino. If you were within a certain shade of beige and had a 3+ syllable last name, you were an effing sand N-word that had to be dealt with. Many religious minorities were also caught in the crossfire, with Sikhs, Hindus, Sephardic Jews, Arab Christians, and others receiving a significant share of the vitriol. Acts of wanton violence became commonplace, houses of worship were burned down, and random people you knew from your community were being locked up, with some never heard from again. But how could this happen? How could such a monumental shift in attitude and behavior occur in the greatest country to ever exist? The same country that opened its arms wide to the tired and the poor, and not one of us made feel less than any other American. Truly, to be born American is an undeniable blessing, and despite our governance, I would gladly give my life to this country and the people that have given me and my family a chance. The reason behind such a substantial attitude shift cannot be attributed to a single moment or event. Rather, it was the accumulation of decades and decades of subtle media propaganda designed to produce an other, so that the powerful can continue to prey on the angry and divided powerless. And this is definitely still very present today. It is a tale as old as time, transcending region and geography, national lines and civilizations, a governance strategy deployed all throughout history to keep us, the people, at odds. It is this same calculated dehumanization that has led to some of the most heinous crimes and bloody massacres whose horrors we do not utter out loud. To many who heard Zach's comments, the language he used, whether intended or not, reeked of the same dehumanization that plagued their ancestors, their grandparents, and in some cases, their families today. It is the same language used to justify wanton violence, genocide, and the destruction of our universal brotherhood. It is the same language used to brush off a video of a Palestinian woman and child burned alive as a price of war. I'm not writing this post to defend the dignity of Palestinians suffering in Gaza. Dignity does not require defense, it is a right. To those who have supported the humanitarian efforts and self-determination of the Palestinian people and all the oppressed around the globe, thank you. To those brave enough to look beyond their own anger and reach out to their dearest friends and neighbors, thank you. These are trying times that will test us all. Zach's comments may have been the impetus for this post, but if there's one thing I hope to convey in my incoherence, it is this. I desperately plead to all those reading to wake up to the forces around you that wish nothing more than to separate you from your fellow man and conquer your hearts, your minds, and your humanity. Those that wish for you to look upon your school teachers, store clerks, and neighbors as them. For they are not them. They are you, born to different circumstances, no doubt, but are you nonetheless. Open your skin and take a look at yourself. We all bleed the same blood, share the same dreams, and will one get emotional. Will one day rot in the same earth until our bones have long become dust, and the difference in our beings will be no thicker than air. Please, for the love of all that is holy and good, look out for yourselves and those around you, and if you ever feel the urge and anger to reduce your fellow man to anything less than yourself, ask aloud who benefits. I guess that very well written. Gosh, I'm so emotional. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like this is such a commentary of like so many things today that's just the vision and the hatred, and yeah, it just it's felt, it feels very felt right now. So I think this is like a really eloquent way of putting things. It's unfortunate that there's just like so much hatred that gets spewed on social media. Just in general. I mean, the things that people can say about and to other humans, it's honestly disturbing. So anyways, I will I'll link this, but yeah, I mean this site just, I don't know, I feel so many levels. I wish people were a little bit kinder and didn't obsess over like hating other people. Ugh. Anyways, so I mean, obviously there was like a lot of media coverage about this, and I'm gonna see if there's anything new or additional in this. I guess how do streamers react? I didn't grab enough like reaction tweets. Um, I just, yeah, I just wish everyone was a little bit nicer and just, I don't know. It's like why do we have to hate one another? Like, why do we have to obsess over like having an enemy that's just another living human being, man? It's it keeps me away from Twitter. It's kind of why I've like stopped posting so much, because there's just so much of that on Twitter, and it's like a reminder every day that like there's just so many hateful people out there, and I just hate thinking about that. I enjoy my bubble of people who care about one another and like you're not discriminated against, and yeah, I don't know. It's just sad. It makes me sad. Okay, so Asmongold, they're referring to him as Hoyt because I think his name is Zach Hoyt. Yeah. A number of outlets at the time of Hoyt's livestream, a number of outlets had reported a finding by UN aid agencies that Israel threatened to starve out northern Gaza. The reporting came as Israel continued to bomb northern Gaza and Lebanon, an offensive that has led to the death of 40,000 Palestinians in the past 10 months. Earlier this year, UN special reporter said that there were reasonable grounds to formally label the assault as a genocide. White's comments provoked a combination of responses. Some touched on the insensitivity of the comments given current events, while others clowned on Hoyt, who is known for streaming from an unkempt bedroom covered with trash. Like, literally. Like, it's not even an exaggeration. What's sad is millions of Americans actually believe this about black and brown people outside of the global north. Daniel Ahmad, a frequent commentator in the game space, said on X in response to the video. Another person replied, inferior culture, says the guy who doesn't even wipe his ass. The nature of the comments inspired even those close to Hoyt to speak out. In addition to streaming, Hoyt is a co-founder of the media company One True King and PC seller Starforge System. And then we talked about Tips Out's post. The following day, the official OTK account announced that Hoyt would be stepping away from his roles in OTK and other affiliated businesses. Okay, so yeah, this basically leads us to the apology video. The moment you've been waiting for. My plans moving forward. I mean, you can see some of the clutter. But yeah, it's pretty bad. We'll see. It says 2.5 million views, was posted a day ago. Will he be sincere? I don't know. Looks like he cleaned it up a little bit.
Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you all about what my reason was for getting suspended on Twitch and also what my plans are.
Is the audio quality really bad? Why is it so bad? Is he not using a mic?
Going forward, I'm going to try and structure this video into two parts, where the first part is going to be me talking about the Twitch suspension, second part is going to be talking about myself. And the first thing I want to start off with is something that I know it might sound a little bit insincere because of how ridiculous this is, but I really mean it, and if you listen to the whole video, I hope you can see why. Everybody who's come and spoken out and talked to me and said stuff about me, you know, aside from the, oh,
just a side comment, but be careful who you send merch to, because it might end up in an apology video like this one.
Oh, you should kill yourself or something like that. I want to say that I really appreciate you, and I think this has been something that's a long time coming, and I actually think that this is something that not only I deserved, but it's also something that I needed. And I want to talk about what the reason for that is, but I want to start off and just make sure that that's actually very clear. So a couple of days ago, I made some comments about Palestine and also about Hamas and, you know, some just general, you know, basically opinions that were trivializing the genocide that's happening there. And I don't really want to like mince words or like try to like, oh, I wasn't justifying or, you know, promoting it. I said something about it that was disgusting. I said that I didn't care about innocent people getting killed by another force, by anything. And I think that that's a horrible, disgusting, mean-spirited thing to say. And I don't necessarily think that it was really racist, really. But when I'm using language like Palestinians or like the people there, rather than what my real language was, I've always been very outspoken and very against religious extremism. And I still am. I think that any religion and any way of thinking that's going to cause you to put other people in like kind of positions below you as like, you know, like gay people, women, people with disabilities, anything like that.
You're telling me that now Asmongold cares about minorities? I find this statement to be so hypocritical. Because maybe it's not a religion, a specific religion per se, but something has very clearly, I would actually attribute it more to a disease that faces many young, impressionable men today, and the current state of our role models like Asmongold and Andrew Tate and Aiden Ross. There's very clearly an obsession with hating others or minorities or women or gay people or Palestinians. He gets to that. Okay. Okay. I'm just saying. Look, I'm making a React video, and right now, I find it very hypocritical to like. I mean, look, I agree with like religious extremism and using like religion to put down others and have people be lesser than you. I'm saying there's okay, yeah.
I think that that's a really bad position to have, and I really don't like that. And I think that my problem and my fault here was that I was making a criticism of religious extremism, and I made no effort. And I feel like almost I've rewatched the clip, right? Or a number of the clips. And it's like I've almost made an effort not to draw a distinction between the two things. I think that a lot of us here can easily say that we're against religious extremism. And I am. But whenever I categorize everybody in the area as this like group, then I'm the asshole. And I was the asshole. I had a lot of you guys tell me that. And it's taken me, this is what's so crazy about it, is that I think this has been going on now for like 2 years. I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most mean-spirited, I don't really even know what the word is for it. Just like the most mean-spirited, rude, like nasty, like just callous, psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into this.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends have told me this. My dad has told me this. He said, you've got to chill out. You've got to calm down. I've been like, oh, that old man doesn't know what he's talking about. And I've finally had some level of accountability for that. And thank God. I look back at some of the things that I've said and done over the past 2 years, and I don't think that I've been wrong about everything, obviously, right? But there have been ways that I've communicated and ways that I've acted that are indefensible. And I think looking back on it, it's just disgusting. And it's something that when you get lost in the sauce and you get fixated around like listening and reading feedback and, just getting hyper fixated, this is like your entire life.
Echo chamber.
You lose a perspective on reality and you lose a perspective on the world. And I think that perspective was brought into perspective yesterday and the day before when I was making comments like this. And I feel so stupid. It's crazy. So I'm getting all these people making negative comments toward me. Everybody is telling me like, oh, go kill yourself. I hate you. Everything like this. Do you know who reached out to me? And they wanted to talk and have a conversation and see if I was okay. It's people that were Islamic and people that had fucking family in Palestine. And how humiliating is that? How absolutely humiliating is that? And these were the people I was trying to say were bad. And I feel like such a fucking stupid asshole. I really do. I've always been I guess like I've always been kind of like an atheist. And even as a young kid, I was raised Roman Catholic, and I was always very defiant towards it. And I've always had a negative opinion of religion, and I've also had a negative opinion of religious cultures. And I think that opinion is definitely shaped by the media that I've created, and the media I've created for myself, and then also just the media that exists, the media that I've chose to seek out as well. And I think that media has allowed me to have certain predispositions and certain biases that the truth is that don't have any sort of relation to what my own real life has been experienced, or my own real life experience has been, excuse me. And so I've been spending a lot of time talking to those people, and I've seen people like fans of mine, like I had viewers messaging me on Discord, like, why are you saying this? Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to, like, I'm willing to talk to you, and like, like let's try to work this out, right? We love you. And I scrolled up on their messages, and these are people that messaged me in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like, I love your content, I love your stream, I love you, right? And now they get to hear this from me, and I just feel like such a stupid, belligerent fucking asshole. I really do. And I'm sorry. I really am. I think that it's extremely fair to criticize religious extremism, and I think that it's extremely unfair to categorize everybody in part of that group as religious extremists. I think it is, and I'm really sorry for that. I've just been a fucking dick, and it's weird because yesterday I woke up and I didn't know if I was going to get suspended or not, and I had planned on streaming and everything, and I actually got a text message from one of my mods. They said, "Oh, I heard about the suspension. I'm sorry," and I was like, I remember I was like driving, and like, you know, you'd think that like your heart rate would go up, but if anything, I felt more relaxed. I felt like finally I have a moment to just take a step back and breathe and think for myself and just stop, just like get out of my own head. And I spent a long time like just writing basically a list of all of these things that like I think that I should be doing with my life. And this is going to be kind of the second part, by the way, of the video. Comments that I made were pretty much about religious extremism. I think it's bad, but I've categorized a lot of people in that way that was unfair. It's wrong for me to have done that. I said something that was bad. I should not have said that. I should have chosen my words more carefully. I didn't do that. I doubled down on it. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. That's pretty much, I was a fucking asshole. I was a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. And so, actually, I do know what else to say. I don't like making apologies because I think words don't matter.
That's
but I do think changed actions and
that is like a psychotic thing to say. Holy shit. Words don't matter. That is like sociopathic, I would say. Psychopathic is probably more accurate. Bro, words are why you're in this situation. Words matter. Like, words do matter. Like, words are very important. That's why we use them. That's why speech writers meticulously craft and string words together, and books and scripts and stories. Words can drive people to harm themselves. It can also help people feel better. A simple apology goes such a long way if you hurt someone. Think about it in reverse. Like, if someone made you feel bad and they apologize for that, you feel better. You do. You get a little closure. That's like a crazy, like, this guy needs therapy. Holy shit. You got so much money. You should be doing therapy. I mean, Jesus, man, like, everything you say matters when you have, especially an audience of tens of thousands of very impressionable young men who are hanging on every word you say and then repeat every word that you say. That stuff gets ingrained with them.
Change behaviors do. And so you can take my apology as hopefully better content. And if you're not seeing that, I want you to hold me accountable. Hopefully this time I won't be stupid enough to ignore it.
How can you spend 8 minutes apologizing and being like, words don't matter? Because then it just seems like your apology doesn't mean anything because you don't care about what you're saying. I mean, that's just like, I mean, it counteracts everything you just said.
Mouth is pretty dry. Anyway, so the second part about this is that I want to talk a little bit about like my life, my personal life, etc., and kind of some of the points that I think that I've kind of gone through to get here. So the main thing is that for the past, like, I would say like 10 years or so, if you look at...
It is a little sad that people idolize this person. Like, this guy has tens of thousands of viewers, millions of dollars. And like, I pity him. I feel bad. Like, I feel bad for him. He's not doing well. This is like, I don't know how you can like look at this and be like, yes, I want to be like this guy. I really do think and hope he seeks like support. Therapy would be really, really helpful, I think. Once a week. I mean, you can afford it, man. You can afford it. You should commit to that. Once a week, it's an hour a week. You will grow. You will actually grow so much. You got probably a lot of things to unpack, man. I mean,
my life like this, I would have said 10 years ago or maybe 8 years ago, streaming was like this, right? YouTube was like this. And now I would say that my life and streaming are basically the exact same size. And what I mean by that is that streaming is my entire life. Doing this is my entire existence. And I think that the process of that has been extremely unhealthy for me. And I think that what it's done is that it's allowed me to become such a one-dimensional person that I'm not even a person anymore. It's like I'm in Dark Souls, I'm going hollow or something. And I think about all of the,
accurate.
like I made a list of all of the things that I'm not doing in my life that I should be doing, and I was writing it down.
Showering, using soap, using trash cans. I mean, there's a lot of room to grow here.
And I'm like, fucking like, I'm just going.
Hiring someone, just hire someone. Hire like a PA. Get yourself a PA and have them hire people for you. Hire someone to clean and stuff.
Going. I'm like, oh my God, I think it'd be shorter if I transcribed the Bible. Like, this is insane. Like, like, whenever I have everything written down line for line, it's like, oh my God, I'm ruining my life. I've been existing, and I want to, at a certain point, actually try to live my life. And
wow.
I don't think that I've been doing that. And so what am I going to do? How am I going to do that differently? And what does that mean for my stream, etc.? I think that I'm going to cut down a little bit on streaming quite as much. And
this could be a breakthrough. This could be a breakthrough because, I mean, like, I am very, like, jaded in the industry. I can't think of a person of notable status who has spewed this level of hate and has changed for the better. And I mean, I could be wrong. Like, if you guys know someone who's like actually redeemed themselves and like got out of this, I am really hoping genuinely this is like a wake up call, because there are people like, he is the prime example of like the unhealthy level of being a creator. Streaming, living for streaming, like only existing to stream. There is some self-awareness that is happening here. I hope that the words sink in. Like, watch this video back, look at that list that you've made. I get worried because like people, I've been a creator for 10 years, and I used to stream when I started 7 days a week, 7+ hours a day, 7 days a week for like years. And I started to reduce that less and less because I was missing out on life in my 20s. I was missing out on things. And it can really suck you in. Your echo chamber can suck you in. You get more and more extreme. You don't take care of yourself. Your mental health falls apart. Man, you regret it. You will regret it if you don't change this. I mean, you will become just a hateful, sad, miserable person. And life is precious. And that's why I just really get emotional, like, reading the post that Tips Out made, because it's like, man, like, I just don't understand how people can be so hateful and live like that and like exist in that way. I don't get it. I don't get why, and I don't get how. I could not live with myself if I had so much hate for others, and I don't know. I guess I don't get the mindset. Genuinely, it's baffling to me. You must really hate your life so much. Like, you must hate yourself so much. I just don't know how you can keep up with that energy. It's just so bad. It's like, why would you want to be miserable? Strive to make yourself happy and do good things in life. I don't know.
And I think I'm also going to cut down. This is going to sound like I hope I can say this in the right way. I feel like the main times that I laugh on my stream nowadays are when I'm laughing at other people. And I look back on videos that I did from 2020, 2016, and 17, and yeah, I've always been an asshole, but holy shit, I've been way more of an asshole. It's insane. And it's a night and day difference. And I've had, again, everybody in the world telling me this, including my own dad, and I've just ignored them. And finally, it's like, you know what? Maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe this is too far. Maybe I need a course correction, which is why I think that, like, getting suspended in this, I hope that it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And I don't know whether that's going to be true, but I'm going to try to do things differently and make sure to live up to that reality. And so, what are those things that I'm going to be doing differently? The first thing is that I think I'm going to try. I've been very much trying to, like, maintain a consistent schedule with my stream, and I will continue to do that. I want to get up and go to bed at relatively the same time. I want to live a normal life, and also I want to spend maybe a little bit less time streaming, and I want to spend more time creating my own videos and doing my own things and spending time on things that I really enjoy, and basically just, like, expanding my existence as a person. I think that ever since I started, like, OTK and I got...
Dude, just stop worrying about making content. Just go and, like, go fish or go to a concert or, like, go camping or drive a race car or something. Like, not everything has to be content, man. Like, I think you're like he's like, you're almost got it, but, like, yeah, just it does. You can just, like, kind of disconnect from content. That way you're not compelled to fall back into your same habits. Not like, oh, I'm just gonna make content of other things.
Involved with that, and then we had, like, other Starforge and, like, Mad Mushroom and Mythic and everything. Like, I honestly, it's been too much for me to handle. It's been completely too much for me to handle, and I've been losing my mind dealing with it, and I try to hide it the best I can, because, you know, I try to do the best, right? I try to do my best. You know, it doesn't matter how hard it gets, you just keep going, it doesn't matter. And eventually it does matter. And I think that I've negatively affected a lot of them. And I also don't want to talk about that just in the context of just, like, this recent controversy. I want to talk about this in the context of the last 2 years. I think that I haven't really been able to fulfill my responsibilities as a leader in a lot of cases to them. And I think that I've let a lot of people down. And there have been things that I've done that are positive as well. But I think that one thing this thing has taught me, this whole situation has taught me, it's made me realize, is that I need to get myself in check. I need to get my mind under control. I need to, like, just get my life I need to fix my fucking life. Like, it's insane. Like, I think about it and it's in shambles. Everything about my life is basically fucked. And I'm going to take a step back from all of that. I'm going to step away from my leadership position and OTK and Starforge and everything. I want to, and they're fine with that.
I'm sure they're happy about it.
I want to do this. And I want to do this not only for them, but mainly for myself, so I can be a better version of myself for everyone. And I want to apologize to all you guys, my viewers, that I don't think I've lived up to that. I think that I can be a lot better than what I am right now. And I don't even think that I've been putting in half the effort that I should be in the way that I should be. And I'm sorry. And so my plan is to, when I get unbanned, I'll keep streaming regularly, right? And I want to focus more on trying to do things that are fun, trying to laugh more with people rather than at people. I'll still laugh at people every once in a while, okay? Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But it's about a focus, and it's about a tone. I listen to my tone in the clip, and I just sound like such a piece of shit. Really, at the end of the day, I sound like a piece of shit. I sound like a terrible person, and it's just so mean-spirited and callous and just mean. And I don't want to be that person anymore. And I've spent a long time growing up. The time I did, I was an r/atheism enjoyer. I have a very negative opinion of a lot of religions. I've had the experience firsthand of the negative effects of Christianity and the way that I view that. And I've always read a lot of very bad things about Islam, and I've made a lot of criticisms of it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. I've heard a lot about it, and I've been like watching things about it, and I've been like hearing people telling me this is the way it is, but I've never seen it. And I actually think that after all this, I think towards the end of next year, I think I'd like to visit the Middle East and see it for myself. I want to see it for a historical perspective, right? I would love to go to Istanbul in Turkey. There's no ulterior motive there at all. But it's not just that. I'd love to visit places like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, any of the other places. I mean, the truth is that, and this is the worst thing about what I said, some of the places that I would want to visit, I might not be able to because of the way that they're like just the internal strife, the actual literal wars that are going on, people being literally killed there, and I might not be able to do that. But I want to do it, and I want to see it for myself, because I don't like believing what people tell me. And I think that when I do, I end up being a fool. And I want to see it. I want to see it for myself, and I want to experience it, and I want to live my life. And I'm going to try to, like, I don't know, like, clean up part of my house. I'm going to try to do this, and I'm not going to hire a cleaner. As I said, I was raised Roman Catholic. I view this as a penance. And I think I need to do this for myself. I need to take accountability for bad things that I've done and for letting my life get this out of control. And I don't need a get out of jail free card. So I need to do that for myself and for my own closure as well. And I think also I want to live for the idiots out there that, they're like looking to me to be a role model, right? Oh, not a good idea. But there are people that will see that, and they'll think maybe to themselves, maybe I should do the same thing. And if I can do that for one person, well, I've already done it for myself. I've already done a good thing, and so it could only get better. And so that's what my plan is. I'm going to try to, like,
you're
rethink
saying the
my
right
life.
things.
I've had a lot of people reach out to me. People I would have never expected reach out to me in ways that I never expected. And I understand that, like, I'm still very critical about, religious fundamentalism, right? But when you paint with such a broad brush that you just include an entire group of people, you're just being you're being a piece of shit.
You're being an
it's
extremist.
Like people said it was racist. I didn't mean it as racist, but if you listen to what I said, it's easy that you could assume that. So easy. And so I'm just a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking moron. I've been an asshole. I think that I've devolved for the last 2 years. I think that I've negatively affected other people too, in ways that I hate. I don't even hate to say this. Like, I think I need to say this. I need to say it more. I've negatively affected people in ways that I regret. I think whenever I go back live again, I'll probably talk about that more. And, like, there's some just different people I kind of want to apologize to and, take accountability for things that I've said and done that have negatively affected other people in ways that were unfair and wrong. And that's what my plan is. That's about it. I want to say that I hope that now, after you've heard what I have to say, that a lot of you all can see kind of why I'm saying that I appreciate this. I really think that this is something I needed, and I hope that this is the next part of the rest of my life. And I want you guys to hold me accountable to that. So if I'm being a fucking asshole again, if I'm being mean, if I'm just being callous, acting like a psychopath, just treating people awfully outside of a WoW raid when they get killed by fire, but really laughing at people's misfortune, try to say, man, just chill the fuck out, stop it. Just stop. And I'm gonna do my best to listen. I spent 2 years ignoring it, and look where it got me. This is not even the tip of the iceberg of the problems in my life. And I want to thank everybody for making me aware that that's the case. And hopefully I can avoid the iceberg, right? And so I want to say that's pretty much about all I've got. I'm sorry for a lot of people I let down, not just with comments like this, but also just with the way I've been doing things in general. I think that you guys deserve a much better version of me than what you've been getting, and I hope that I can live up to that in the future. And I don't even want to think about it in the future, right? As soon as I get unbanned, the best apology is better content, change behavior, and that's what I hope to do. So yeah. Anyway, guys.
Well, we'll find out in 2 weeks, chat.
I'm just gonna focus on myself for a while, try to improve my own life, and there's a lot of things I think, again, I'll probably talk about more whenever I go live again, that are like more kind of, just like kind of in the weeds, like personal stuff. But overall, that's the big picture. That's where I'm at. And so anyway, that's about all I've got. And I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to try to just take this time off to, really kind of fix my shit. So yeah, anyway, guys, that's about it. I'll see you later. Bye.
I mean, it sounds genuine, and like the things he is saying is an accurate self-reflection. Now, I don't think that he is being disingenuous here. I think what he said, I think he meant what he said. I do. I think in this moment, when he recorded this, he felt those things. And the things he said were accurate. Pirate Software put out a tweet after watching this video. In the wake of his ban, Asmongold put out an apology video talking about his conduct. Sometimes apology videos come across as meaningless and hollow. This one does not. Been watching him for years and saw his content slowly change into angry takes and lashing out. Glad to see the self-reflection and a plan to move back to better times. Just need action to fit the words now. So Asmongold replied this saying, "Thanks, man. I hope I can live up to everyone's expectations." And Pirate Software replied, "Just live up to the ones you already set for yourself." Now, unfortunately, he went to his Reddit and went to the... So, he talks a lot about religious extremism and how they, do these things, like they oppress marginalized people and women and gay people and all these horrible things, and yet perpetuates these exact ideas. It doesn't have to be under religion to be extremist. And I find it unfortunate that he could not link the way that he's been doing things to the way he believes religion is. My dude, you are the exact thing that you're freaking out about, and that you're so hateful against. Like, you are that. Don't have to be religious to oppress other people and spread hate. I wish that he was able to make that connection, and maybe he'll have a conversation with his support system to help illuminate that. So then there's this. He went to his Reddit, and he wrote, because it was arslur to use Palestinians interchangeably with religious fanatics terrorists. Obviously not all people in Palestine are trash. It's really not that complicated. Also, it wasn't just that issue. Don't let yourself become ideologically captured by a worldview to the point where it makes you so unreasonable that you turn into what you're fighting against. Okay, yeah, that's you. Yep. Okay, cool. No one wins when I stand behind a statement that's false or mischaracterization. My effing dad told me a year ago I was getting too harsh on my stream and I ignored him. Same with a lot of real life friends. I think I've just been increasingly more hostile and negative. That brings a bad vibe to the stream. A good comparison, Dragon Ball Sparkings, I don't know this playthrough, but the vibes and feel of the stream recently have been a lot more intense, and that is my fault. If you think that means my first stream back is going to be playing Dustborn and promoting Sweet Baby, I think you'll be very disappointed. I'm not changing anything other than trying to be more positive and less mean-spirited. Also, sponsors has nothing to do with it. This wasn't even the top 5 worst things I've said. I wanted to step away from leadership and take a break from all that for a while now because of the amount of commitments compounding on top of maintaining my streaming schedule was unironically ruining my life. Also, I'm not involved with them. Why would it matter what I say? Hopefully, y'all can see how this really is a macro issue and not just the situation. My life has actually been effed for a while now. I need to fix it. I'm a 34-year-old single man living in his mother's house with dead animals and garbage. Although I don't hate it, I don't want to die this way. I mean, there was also this comment. Take a break. Us chuds will be here waiting for you to make streaming great again. Don't worry, I'll react to a DEI equals die gaming video first day back to stream. So I think Pirate Software had like a good reaction to this. Pretty rough read and honestly just more of the same lashing out behavior. The video is a much more humble and reflective approach, waiting to see what this all turns into when he's back. The ball is in his court to do better. So that's why I you know, I think again, after reading the Reddit comments, I do think that this video, when he recorded it, was genuine. And I do think that these are real feelings and thoughts that he has. I don't think this is scripted. This is not prepped. He's not really someone who does that, obviously. Like, he doesn't care about, like, image or PR. Like, this is not something that was, like, prepped for him in any way. I think I'm not excusing, like, these comments, but I think that this is a really deep problem. It's a deep-rooted problem, and it's not easily just going to go away because you said, I'm going to do better, and then all of a sudden your fan base is like, good on you, we support you, we're gonna be happy-go-lucky, happy times. No, he is going to have a lot of work cut out for him. And I think that's why I'm a little pessimistic, unfortunately. Like, I want to root for him because I want people to be happy and better and not be miserable and hateful. But it is so hard to break out from the community that you've built. Like, the hatred runs deep in your community. And it's going to take not just work on yourself, but working on your community and changing how your community behaves and being able to, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if moderation is how you do it or you just, like, brute force it. It's really hard to break out of this. Oh no, he built a racist community. I feel so bad for him. I mean, like, he went down a rabbit hole. And look, this is a serious problem where people get down these really, the right-wing funnel. It's really deep and it's really hard to dig out, especially when you have 10,000 people, 20,000 people spamming your chat, egging you on. And so trying to steer yourself is one thing, but steering your whole community, it's going to be really hard to turn everyone around. And that to me is concerning. He's going to need a lot more support to be able to like get out of this. And so, not to excuse what he said here, but I think it's just that's his de facto behavior, right? It's don't worry, I'm not going to do these things. And you know, we'll see in 2 weeks, right? He comes back to streaming in 2 weeks. If he chooses to come back right when he's unbanned, he will be talking about this and we'll be talking about this. I definitely, again, like I said, I feel jaded, but I do think that this was like, I do think that this was genuine, and I am always rooting for people to, get out from the right wing extremist fascist rabbit hole. And unfortunately, some of us have family. I've been very fortunate to not have to deal with this, but I know that a lot of people deal with this with their own family, their own parents. They get sucked down, and it's so hard to dig them out, with these conspiracy theories and MAGA stuff, and it is so hard to break away from that. It really does. It is a form of I don't know, disease or something. Really dark, really deep. So the thing that gives me hope is honestly OTK and that like community that like is to me is like his. I don't know him that well, and I don't know like who his friends are, but obviously that is a support system that he has. You have people like Tips Out, which I'm sure he is very close with and will have these conversations with, and I'm sure my guess is when he referenced people reaching out, I'm sure that Tips did reach out and have had a conversation with him. And my hope is because he has shown an openness, like just a little window of being like receptive to growing and changing, that is just enough for his support system to like help him and guide him and encourage him. It's easy to shit on people, guys, and I think when we talked about what Tips Out wrote and getting emotional about this, and the takeaway of like looking at one another as like human beings, as being the same and from the same place, like just be careful of what you say. And like we don't want to be hateful as well. Like how does that make any of us better? We could be wrong, right? Like he could just go right back to what he does and nothing could change. But I would rather have hope and be wrong about it than to dismiss him, shit on him, comment on his stuff, tell him he's not gonna make it, that he's just faking it, it's all a lie, and he's gonna go right back to it. Like, what does that accomplish? I feel like there's so much I'm tired of the hate. I'm tired of the negativity. And I feel like I'm not asking for you to do anything. I'm not asking for you to go and like give him bits or follow him or watch him or tell him anything. I'm just saying, like, hold back from that same negativity and dismissiveness that his community is already completely just soaked up in. We can stand to be a little bit more positive. So we'll see what happens, and I do hope that he does get therapy and that he does lean into his support system. It sounds like he does speak to his dad, and he has people in his corner, and I hope that helps him. It doesn't influence my life in any way, but I don't know, it's good to see people be better, and to especially I think why I care is because like as a streamer I definitely relate to like the struggles of being lost in the content sauce. And also knowing that he is a role model, like he is actually a role model to so many people, and especially young men. And you know, there's a lot of problems right now, you know, with the role models of our youth. And so if one person can be more positive and you know, put down people less, and you know, be a somewhat positive influence, and like you said, like if he can clean up his act, he could pull a lot of people out of um this exact funnel that he is in, this exact rabbit hole. Like he actually would, and I think that's why I care. Is if he does it, he will influence thousands of people. Um, that is a very powerful position to be in, and to do it to something that's good and beneficial for those people. I mean, that's something that we should encourage. So that's how I feel about it. We'll see in 2 weeks. We'll keep an eye on it, but definitely let me know what you think about this. Definitely a lot to process. Let me see if I have anything else. And that was everything that I had to cover on this. So yeah, definitely let me know what you think about this. Um, uh, I hope this is a good conversation to have. So we needed to have this conversation.